Friends, welcome to this night's reading from First Kings. Let's pull up the big picture and take a look at this. This is First and Second Kings. Remember, these two books originally were one book. We are in the latter portions of chapter 16 of First Kings. So we're right here. And I'm not going to zoom any closer on that because, well, I could zoom in for the last few verses of chapter 16 on that section of 12 to 16, but what's the point when we're only going to be there for a few verses? We shift at, at the break between chapter 16 and chapter 17 from bouncing back and forth talking about these initial kings in the north and the south, in Israel and in Judah, to remember that the story of kings in that original ancient book, which we know in two parts, is First and Second Kings. This is not just the story of kings, it is the story of kings and prophets. And guess what? Kings and prophets rarely are on the same page. Oh, we're going to see a lot of that. A lot. The final chapters of First Kings are all about Elijah and the kings of Israel, the kings of the northern kingdom, and the strife, the conflict between Elijah and the kings, most notably between Elijah and King Ahab and his queen Jezebel. So, friends, let's read. Good evening, Susan. I'll be reading from the left-hand column, which is the Complete Jewish Bible. The right-hand column is the New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition. I will mostly be using that in a side-by-side comparison to remind ourselves, and including me, who these ones are that are addressed in a Jewish Bible by their Jewish biblical names, which are not always the same as their Christian Bible names. Sometimes they're close, sometimes not so much. We resume our reading tonight at chapter 16, verse 23. And we are very close to the end of this chapter. 34 verses to chapter 16. We're at verse 23. It was in the 31st year of Asa, king of Judah, that Omri began his reign over Israel. And he ruled 12 years, 6 of them in Tirzah. He bought Mount Shamron, Samaria, from Shemer for 132 pounds of silver. On the mountain he built a city, which he named Shamron, after Shemer, who had owned the mountain. Omri did what was evil from Adonai's perspective, outdoing all his predecessors in wickedness. For he lived entirely in the manner of Yerovam, the son of Nevat, Jeroboam, the first king of Israel, of the divided kingdom of Israel, committing the sins with which he made Israel sin, thereby angering Adonai, the God of Israel, with their worthless idols. Other activities of Omri and the power he demonstrated are recorded in the annals of the kings of Israel. Then Omri slept with his ancestors and was buried in Shamron, and Achav, his son, became king in his place. Achav. Ahab. It was in the 38th year of Asa, king of Yehuda, that Achav, the son of Omri, began his rule over Israel. Achav, the son of Omri, ruled 22 years over Israel in Shamron. Achav, the son of Omri, did what was evil from Adonai's perspective. Outdoing all his predecessors in wickedness. But then, as if it had been a trifling thing for him to commit the sins of Yerovam, the son of Nevat, he took as his wife Jezebel, the daughter of Etbaal, king of the Sidonim. Jezebel, daughter of King Ethbaal of the Sidonians, and went and worshipped Baal and went and served Baal and worshipped him. He erected an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Shamron. Achav also set up the Asherah. Indeed, Achav did more to anger Adonai, the God of Israel, than all the kings of Israel preceding him. It was during his time that Hiel of Bethel, rebuilt Jericho. He laid its foundation at the cost of his firstborn son Abiram, and erected its gates at the cost of his youngest son Segub. This was in keeping with the word of Adonai spoken through Joshua, the son of Nun. Eliah from Tishbe, Elijah the Tishbite, an inhabitant of Gilead, said to Achav, "As Adonai, the God of Israel, lives, before whom I stand, there will be neither rain nor dew in the years ahead, unless I say so." Then the word of Adonai came to him. "Leave here, turn to the east, and hide in Vadai Krit, the Vadai Cherith, near the Jordan. You are to drink from the stream, and I have ordered the ravens to feed you." So he went and acted according to the word of Adonai. He went and lived in Vadai Krit, near the Yarden. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the stream. After a while, the stream dried up, because there was no rain in the land. Then this word of Adonai came to him: Get up, go to Zarephath, a village in Sidon, and live there. I have ordered a widow there to provide for you. So he set out and went to Zarephath. On reaching the gate of the city, he saw a widow there gathering sticks. He called out to her, Please bring a little water in a container for me to drink. As she was going to get it, he called after her, Please bring me a piece of bread in your hand. She answered, As Adonai your God lives, I have nothing baked, only a handful of meal in a pot and a little oil in the jug. Here I am, gathering a couple sticks of wood so that I can go and cook it for myself and my son. After we have eaten that, we will die. Elihu said to her, Don't be afraid. Go and do what you said. But first use a little of it to make me a small loaf of bread and bring it out to me. After that, make food for yourself and your son. For this is what Adonai, the God of Israel, says: The pot of meal will not get used up, nor will there fail to be oil in the jug, until the day Adonai sends rain down on the land. She went and acted according to what Elihu had said, and he and her household had food to eat for a long time. The pot of meal did not get used up, nor did there fail to be oil in the jug, in fulfillment of the word of Adonai spoken through Elihu. A while later, the son of the woman whose house it was fell ill. His illness grew increasingly serious until his breathing stopped. She said to Elihu, What do you have against me, you man of God? Did you come to me just to remind me how sinful I am by killing my son? Give me your son, he said to her. Taking him from her lap, he carried him into the room upstairs where he was staying and laid him on his own bed. Then he cried out to Adonai, Adonai, my God, have you brought also this misery on the widow I'm staying with by killing her son? He stretched out himself out on the child 3 times and cried out to Adonai, Adonai, my God, please let this child's soul come back into him. Adonai heard Elihu's cry. The child's soul came back into him and he revived. Elihu took the child, brought him down from the upstairs room into the house, and gave him to his mother. And Elihu said, See, your son is alive. The woman replied to Elihu, Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of Adonai that you speak is the truth. I'm going to pause there. Let me just, as a final thought, point out the Sidonians were not of either Israel or Judah. They were outsiders, closer to Israel than to Judah. Israel, in this period, has these kings who again and again try to outdo each other for being more wicked than the one before. Judah, it's kind of a coin toss. This outsider, this widow of Zarephath, living among the Sidonians, living outside of God's people, she calls out to God, Adonai. She calls out to Israel's God. She shows faithfulness to the one who is God as an outsider. It's pretty incredible. Next time when we pick up First Kings, we will resume our reading at the opening verse of chapter 18. And now we will zoom in these final chapters of First Kings, all about the conflict between Elijah and Ahab and Jezebel. Thank you for joining us and reading with us. Good evening, Mom. Peace be with you all.